Thirsty.
Get a little drink of water. Get a little drink of water. So we in here. We're gonna do this thing. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and get started. What's going on, Russell Center family, man? Excited as always to be with you all. This is your boy MT, and I'm here with another amazing guest. I told you guys from the beginning, every time we come on, I'm gonna bring some of the most amazing stakeholders that we have here at the Russell Center onto the spotlight, and today is no different. Sheryl Merritt is here. You see the banner in the background. We made it happen to make sure that she's representing for the company that she has that is bringing light and amazing things to the community. So I definitely want to share that, definitely want to bring y'all that information, because that's what we do here on the Thursday Stakeholder Spotlight. And as you see, I got my beard going, man, because we're in grind season right now. Everybody else might be out here summertime fine, but all of the stakeholders here in the Russell Center know what time it is. It's time to make things happen. So definitely want to shout out Dungeon Ford, another great company that provided this amazing cap representing Morehouse College. I had to put on my maroon tie so I could match a little bit, because we're taking it to a whole nother level with this new iteration of the Stakeholder Spotlight, man. We want to make sure that we bring you all some of the best content, information, stakeholders, opportunities from around the community out of the Russell Center every week. But before we jump in with Sheryl and let her tell you all everything that she's got going on, I've got to give you the news that you can use coming out of the Russell Center. And with everything that's going on, with all of the amazing opportunities and events that are coming out of the Russell Center, I really have one that I want to highlight today, and that is the Atlanta Unlocked event coming right here into the Russell Center on June 21st. Me and Sheryl, we went to the first event at Atlanta Tech Village, and it was absolutely amazing. Shout out to all of the family at ATV that had a great event. The food was good. They had a little libations out there for people. Everybody loosened up, and we really had an opportunity to kind of connect and bond with some of the other entrepreneurial partners around the metro Atlanta area. It was an amazing event, a great time, and now we're bringing that same energy with a little bit of Russell Center swag right here to 504 Fair Street. So for all of my stakeholders, please look out for the emails that are coming out about the Atlanta Unlocked event. For all of the partners and other organizations that are around Metro Atlanta serving and helping build entrepreneurs, make sure you get down here to 504 Fair on June 21st so you can see exactly what we're doing in this amazing building. You will never forget this event. Trust me, I was in the room, happenstance, listening to some of the calls that's going on, and man, they're putting together some amazing stuff for June 21st. So if you miss it, you're going to see the pictures. I can guarantee you're going to see the videos, but you definitely want to be in the place on June 21st. And I said I wasn't going to say it last week, so I'm not going to say it again this week. So go back to the video from last week if you want to hear what I'm not saying for all of my stakeholders and all of my potential stakeholders. Go back to that video, listen to what I said, because I told you then I'm not going to say it again. And my guest last week, Aisha told me I was going to say it again, so I'm standing to my word that I'm not going to say it again, because we record these things for a reason, for you to have the opportunity to go back and watch them, give me a couple of views, raise my profile a little bit, because, we out here. Make sure that you're getting the information about all of the events going on here at the Russell Center. All right, I told you I only had one. I wanted to make sure that you all understood the magnitude of what's going on June 21st. But now we can get into the part of this session that I enjoy the most. Sheryl, thank you for coming in.
You're welcome.
Sharing your amazing vision. This woman right here, her energy, her passion, her vigor for life is what drew me in and made me have to go to her and say, hey, are you a stakeholder here? You haven't been on my spotlight. So now she's here. She came in, she followed through, she did exactly what she told me she was going to do. She signed up and she's joined us to give us more about what she's doing. And as you could tell, I was getting my words because I was getting ready to go into my spiel. But as I say every week, I'm not the best person to tell you about these people and everything that they do. So Sheryl, please take a minute, share with the community who you are, what you do, and how your amazing organization is changing the world.
Well, thank you so much for having me today, MT. I'm really honored to be on the Stakeholder Spotlight with the Russell Center. My name is Sheryl Merritt. I'm a native Atlantan, Georgia Peach, y'all.
Yeah.
So I've been a stakeholder with the Russell Center since 2020, and I am building my business, which is one of many. But Kingdom Atlanta is an organization dedicated to bringing people together where we galvanize, strategize, and do the work of the kingdom. It is a for-profit, for-good organization, which sometimes throws people off because people think because of the name, it is a ministry, but it is not. We do ministry good in the world, and we do things that we're supposed to do as kingdom-minded people, but it is a business, and it is a very unique model. So I wanted to join an organization that could give me access to professionals, attorneys, business people that could give me some insight in basically how to build my business. And I've had some really amazing instructors in my cohorts so far. So I want to give a shout out to them. My first one was Kevin Johnson, and now with Evan Rakowski, which is amazing. And so, but the other thing, I want to just tell a little story to give people an idea of what Kingdom Atlanta is. Because MT, we were talking before the camera started rolling that actually God gave me this vision about 2015, 2016. And I joined the Russell Center in 2020, just trying to, before that, figure it out. It's a big vision. It's a God vision, which means it all won't be figured out immediately. He gives me piece by piece as I'm obedient to do the first step. And the first step was to start the business and then listen for further instructions. And one of the things I did in 2020 at the height of the pandemic was really just starting. So it was around April of 2020. We were a few months in. And God said, go and show people what Kingdom Atlanta is. And I didn't know exactly what, but it was my birthday. And I just got online. I said, hey, it's my birthday. I want to demonstrate what the kingdom is. Why don't you donate? And let's see.
Yeah.
And I collected about $400. I was able to go to one of my friends that has a food truck that was shut down because of COVID, but he was cooking food out of his home. And because of that, I bought food. I said, I need some food. I got about 12 plates. I was going to give it to like some first responders, but I was like, hey, they can buy their own food. Let me get it to somebody in need. And I actually ended up calling a community person that works over here in this area near the Russell Center, does a lot on the west side, and asked, you know anybody that needs some food? And he said, actually, I do. He referred me to a grandmother who's raising 6 of her grandchildren. I called her, he connected me, and I told her I was bringing her some food, and she was so appreciative. So I gave them all the food. I had a couple of plates left over. I gave it to some homeless men at the exit, and then the rest of the cash that I had, I gave it to the water boys. And what happened when I got home, I was just overwhelmed. I said, wow, one person decided to do something without having to go through a church, without having to go through a nonprofit organization or call and say, hey, I want to do something, just to make an immediate impact. I was able to help a small business owner, who was shuttered by COVID. I was able to help the elderly, a grandmother, raising children. I was able to help some children, solve some food insecurity for some people, and feed some people. I was able to help feed the homeless, and I was also able to sow into the young water boys, what I like to call the young entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And I just got home and spread the word, and people were just so excited about it. But that's only one thing. It's not, Kingdom Atlanta is not just about giving in that goods or, the needs of people, but it's also about us coming together as professionals and doing what needs to be done as kingdom-minded people. I almost think of like the Russell Center almost being maybe a model of that, where no matter what you do, you can come and get the help that you need so that we can make what we're making Atlanta better. We're making our world better because of our businesses. But the kingdom people, we're supposed to have the kingdom advantage. We're supposed to have the believer's advantage, right? So it's just time to start acting like it. I was bold. I've always been bold about my faith. I've always been bold about everything I've done. And so I just felt like that's why God chose me to set it off. with Kingdom Atlanta. And so I'm here just trying to build the model, trying to bring a network of people together that at any given moment realize there's a need, and we figure out how to meet that need. And that's what Kingdom Atlanta is all about.
Wow. Wow. So it's people out here scrambling, it's entrepreneurs scrambling for money all the time.
Oh yeah.
You utilized your birthday to raise your first $400 and took that and literally distributed your not only your faith but your works. And as they say, one of my favorite portions is God helps those who help themselves. And you helped, and then you went and you got helped, and then you went and helped other people. Like, that is absolutely amazing. But the most interesting part about your speech that really hung out was that you're a for-profit organization that's looking to help people. And in a lot of contexts, especially with what we're seeing now, those are two different portions.
Right.
Like, you'll have a corporation that's running and they're making money, and then they'll be like, all right, well, we're going to have a foundation that goes off, but the missions are completely different. We the dogs over here and they're the sheep over here. But you found a way to bring that together and provide for the community. How does that feel?
Well, it feels amazing. It's sort of challenging sometimes to explain, to differentiate that. But there are things, that we learn about, like the B corporations. Like, that's what I aspire to, be certified as a B corporation. I'm inspired by my friend Jasmine Crowe, her organization, Gooder, which is, it's not, a nonprofit, but what she does is just that whole giving model. And I believe just the inspiration from God was that I don't want this to be labeled as a ministry thing or a nonprofit. I want you to show people that they can get out and do things in a different model, beyond just having to wait on the doors of the church to be open or the nonprofit to be open. And remember, even with the pandemic, even a lot of the nonprofits had to adjust how they gave because they weren't able to utilize or bring in volunteers or have that direct access to people. But I just felt like, let me just model. I'm really just honestly modeling what Jesus did. He didn't do everything inside the synagogue, right? He was out in the world. And because I am a native Atlantan, I feel very strongly about my city. There are great things about this city. There are some things that are hard to realize happening in this city that, I feel like if I can be a part of impacting that through Kingdom Atlanta, then that's what I was born to do.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
So, and I say this all the time, she's dropping jewels. If you don't have your pickaxe and your book bag ready and you're not picking up some of these jewels, you're losing right now. And one of the biggest ones that you referenced was Jasmine Crowe, Gooder. They're out here servicing the community, finding a new way to not only give back, but reduce food waste, which is a huge problem. And that's a $20 million revenue company. Let's not get it twisted. Gooder Co. is out here securing the bag and securing the foundation in the community. So that both can be done and that model can be utilized. What type of business model is Kingdom using to give back?
So that's what I'm learning about through the classes and the access through the Russell Center, just trying to figure out the best way. I believe the direction that I'm going in because I did that event on my birthday. I've had a Giving Tuesday where people gave, and I just found people in the community to wherever I stopped and saw somebody, I would give them a gift card. I'd give them cash. I did a drive-through giving event here at the Russell Center last holiday season where you didn't have to get out your car. You could just drive up, give something. And, I was just led to who to give that. A lot of people gave online, just donated through Cash App or whatever. And I used that to get gift cards and cash and get things for people. But I believe I'm going in the direction of trying to come up maybe with some type of an app that would make it easier, where I would work with community organizations or community people, not necessarily even have to be affiliated with the organization, because my friend who knew the lady who needed food at that moment, it was a Saturday, probably late afternoon by the time I got everything going, got the food and really got out here in the streets. What was I saying? It was just late in the afternoon, so it was just the access thing is what I think I was looking for.
Right.
Is how can I have access? Being one person who knows what I'm called to do, how can I make an impact? And I felt like doing that on my birthday would make it easier for people to give, and then they can see, okay, now I see what she's doing. Let me follow her. And if I have, people have to be discerning also to understand. Everybody doesn't understand the things of the kingdom, but I have a teacher anointing upon my life as well. And so I can help teach how we're supposed to be operating. And I mean, it's bigger than that. I believe that we should be having, meetings to discuss ways to affect bringing down the crime rate using all of the resources of the kingdom. And so it's, like I said, it's with goods, it's with our resources, but it's also with the human capital aspect of it.
Yes.
And not just sitting around waiting and thinking that these things are just going to happen, but that we're the vessels that have to make them happen.
100%, 150%. I really couldn't say it any better myself. Being able to navigate those waters and find those different ways, those outside of the box thinking ways to be able to accomplish the goal. This is exactly it. This is exactly
That's
it.
my phrase too, outside the box. I've always been outside the box. I'm outside the box with this.
Yep.
Outside the box in anything that I've done from a business and a ministry perspective as well.
I love it. I love it. And we didn't coordinate that. That was not coordinated. We just came
Right.
together, great minds think alike.
That's right.
Boom, something happened. So another great point that you made was that through the pandemic, a lot of nonprofit organizations, and I work with a nonprofit organization, shout out 21st Century STEM Foundation, check us out. We had to find different ways to be able to not only engage the community, but engage our donors and continue to bring in the cash flow so that we can give the services that are going to better serve the community. And like you said, this is an outside of the box way to think about being able to be sustainable.
Right.
And that's what a lot of nonprofit organizations don't get. And then they also don't think about, just because our title is nonprofit, this is still a corporation.
Right.
This is still a business.
Still a business.
So being able to provide that service and generate some type of return from that service so you can provide that service again
Exactly.
is the way that the cycle's supposed to work. It's not really a begging cycle. It's a get off your feet, show the impact, and then be able to generate some type of momentum from that impact. What kind of momentum has Kingdom seen from that vision in 2016 to coming to the Russell Center to where you are now?
In 2016, it was just, I heard start Kingdom Atlanta, and I'm like, okay, well, what is that? And I know I've always understood things of the kingdom, but God just started showing me. And I talked to a few pastors, and it just didn't seem like the church thing was the right way. And then I felt like he was leading me away. And I've never participated in like Leadership Atlanta or anything like that. But I felt like they bring people from across the city, different sectors, and they train them and they work together for a common goal of the different organizations. So I wanted to kind of use a similar model for Kingdom Atlanta, where part of it would be just training. What should the kingdom look like, right? I mean, it's part of, bringing the spiritual into this environment. What we pray in the Lord's Prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. These aren't just empty words. Thy kingdom come, how is it going to come? It has to come through people who recognize that God's will should be done on the earth as it is in heaven. But how do we do that? It's not just saying the Lord's Prayer. It's actually getting out here. And I felt like that's what Kingdom Atlanta did. So when I said, let me join the Russell Center and figure this out from a business perspective, like I mentioned before, I was definitely inspired. Talked to Jasmine about it as well with the Gooder model, and felt like, okay, this is the way it should go. And then my instructors thus far have shown me ways that it can work. What does it look like? Maybe how does Kingdom Atlanta approach corporations to say, if you want your corporation to see immediate impact the same day, connect with Kingdom Atlanta, give and watch Kingdom Atlanta work, and you'll get to see that immediate impact. So it's not just the individual people, but how can corporations help support what we're doing? And so, like I said, it's a huge vision. I'm still learning a lot. I'm still figuring it all out. But I think as business owners and entrepreneurs, the good thing about it is that we're the ones that aren't afraid to do figure it out as we do. Like a lot of people try to figure everything out and then start the business, figure everything out and then go, get the license or put it out there. I've done stuff. I put stuff out. You said I got my banner. Guys, like, go ahead and get your stuff together. Be ready so that when that grand opportunity comes, like today, I already had the banner. It was just ready. I didn't have to order it last week. It was already ready. So, the Russell Center giving us access to like the what was it called? Believe in Black Business with the Atlanta Hawks program was very key. I got to talk to their marketing person, the person over their community outreach, really liked what I was doing with Kingdom Atlanta, and just being able to share my visions with ordinary business minded individuals to help them even see the capacity of it is just amazing.
Yes. Yes, 100%. So that question was coming. How did the Russell Center impact everything? She was already throwing it in. We got the events, we got the connections. They didn't give me the guidance. But the big thing that we talk about all the time is the community. How has the community here at the Russell Center helped you grow this vision into a dream and this dream into reality?
Well, the community, like I said, this is my third cohort. So the first time it was all virtual because it was pandemic time, but it was great. We still had formed relationships. The second year we were still kind of virtual. Now we're moving into in-person learning. Some still virtual, but the events that I'm able to come to, like we just did an awesome social media boot camp. The marketing guy from Harvard, Steve Bashira, his sessions have been amazing. Even the access, like when the Live Oak Bank president and his staff were here, and just talking to them, hey, what does it look like for Kingdom Atlanta getting funded, and what would I need to do? So just having access, some of the things that we wouldn't normally have to do. But beyond that, I've become really close friends with a lot of people in my group. And we're even coming to the class tomorrow, and then we're going to do lunch afterwards, and we're going to talk about our businesses. But we're always sending each other outside of our class information for entrepreneurs, other resources. We're keeping each other encouraged. I recorded something on my phone for one of my friends who couldn't make the session because it seemed like it applied more to her when we were talking about the I forget what it's called now. So let me not name names, but it was something that was more applicable to her business. And I said, hey, I recorded this for you. And she's like, wow, thanks. So it's just that type of thing. And being able even to reach out to our instructors for extra help, one-on-one time. I just think it's going to grow. Jay is amazing. Got to shout out my UGA fam. Go Dogs. Let me throw that in there now. Go Dogs. It's still the year of the dog. That's right. Number one, baby. UGA alum. Don't get it twisted. But just being able to, community is always important, and community is it's definitely a part of the kingdom, because the dumb part of it, or the kingdom, whatever what I'm trying to say is that it's a collection, right? It's a collective of people. It's not just one person, even though it's the head is God.
Love it. Love it. So I tell y'all all the time, this is the place to be. We're bringing in all this great energy that we got over here. We're bringing in all of this community, and we're feeding off of each other in the hopes that we continue to build so that the new generation, the new stakeholders can continue to build and feed off of us as well. So russellcenter.org. Y'all done told y'all a million times. I love it. I love it. So Sheryl, you had this vision, you built this community, you joined other communities to continue to proliferate the dream of what Kingdom Atlanta is. What do you see Kingdom Atlanta being 3, 5, 10 years down the road? What is your ultimate goal where you can stand back on the mountaintop, no pun intended, and look down and say, yes, this is what was fed into me from up above?
I see it being a major solution to many of Atlanta's challenges. I see it as the organization that's still standing when even some churches have closed, some nonprofits have folded. I see it as a way, as a means for people who realize that the kingdom way is the best and only way. Well, not the only way, but it is the best way, because there are other systems that function, very well in what they do. But I see it as a way for people to be able to give back in a whole new model, a whole new way, a whole new dimension of giving back, because a lot of this really has to do with being inspired and really knowing, okay, where's this need, and really taking the time to think about how can I meet this need. Like I said, even when I got the food, my first thought was first responders, but I was like, but let me think deeper. Who needs it more than them? And that kind of led to, and then I just happened to pass by hungry homeless men. I just happened to be at the exit with the water boy. So a lot of it is just kind of what happens, I think, in that taking that first step of obedience. So I say in those years, it's going to be the place where the police force comes and says, hey, we need Kingdom Atlanta. Who's really got the gift of prophecy? We are looking for this missing person. And, like I tell people all the time, God showed me where my sister's missing dogs were one time. And if he could show me that, he could show me where people are.
Okay.
So I just see a grand expression of kingdom through this business model and being able to have access to people.
Yeah, it gets crazy sometimes. But we got the audio, so that's all that matters.
Okay.
So that vision, that growth, that plan is definitely attainable, and I look forward to being here when that happens, because it's going to be great. It's going to be a great time, and even from what you're saying, it's reaching and trying to touch people in multiple different ways. Not just feet on the ground, we're in your face, but like you said, being able to say, hey, we've got a community of people. Mm-hmm. These folks are looking for somebody. We know this person has those opportunities. Let's connect them and see what we can grow from there. And then they'll be able to pour back into the kingdom as they continue to grow as well.
Exactly.
That is
and we'll
amazing.
have a Kingdom Atlanta Center,
there
like the Russell Center.
Shit, girl. You better speak it into existence.
Hey, I just spoke it.
I love it. I love it. All right. So we're wrapping this thing up. We're getting close to the end.
Okay.
But you know what I'm about to say, because I gave you the prep, because I was like, man, people come over here and I ask them this question and then they're like, oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna say. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and prep Sheryl, and I'll prep all the rest of my guests as well. So if you had to pull out that big old Celtics ball head coach size diamond, because he got a big head. Don't get it fooled. Nia Long, I think you're great, and I'm mad you married him, but hey, I'm not mad. He's a good dude, seems like. But he got a big old head. So if you had to pull out a diamond from all of your experiences that is as big as his head, and Warriors is 7, but pull the diamond and you put it on his head and it was that big, and it was your experiences, your journey, your collective knowledge from all that you've done, all that you've seen, and all you've been able to be privy to. What would that piece of advice be that you could give to the community so they could go forward and prosper themselves? The
biggest thing would be just do it. I mean, sports analogies, right? We're talking, yes. But you can't be afraid. You won't know everything immediately, but just do it. Just start. And once you get into motion, the next step will become more clear. And I also say dream big. Don't be intimidated that people maybe don't understand your idea. I'm still kind of sometimes dealing with that, but I just pray that their eyes will be open to understand it. But don't be intimidated. If you believe in it, do what you need to do. And what you don't know, join organizations and places like the Russell Center that can help you Work with your friends and people that have information, and just do it. Like, no excuses, just do it.
There you go. There you go. And I'm gonna arrange that and put it into a so dream big, build community, just do it. There it is. That's a big old diamond, because a lot of people get stuck in the dream and then they don't get to do it. And then they never get a community around them that's going to motivate them and push them. They always listening to the naysayers. Nah, man, you're not going to do it. If it was able to be done, somebody else would have done it. Right. But as you know, and as you said from the beginning, your message is yours. And if somebody else was supposed to do it, then you wouldn't get the message.
That's right.
150,000 million %.
That's it. And I'm not making this up. You can go to the Word.
Word. Sheryl, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for taking the time on this Thursday when I know obviously you could be out there sharing your gifts and your energy and your light with the world. You decided to come here and allow me to be able to converse more with you about what you're doing. And that always means a lot. That always means a lot. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something about Kingdom Atlanta. You want to get involved? KingdomAtlanta.com. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Kingdom Atlanta.
Boom. She in my head, so she already know what I'm about to do. She's like, look, let me go ahead and get MT to stop talking, because I heard on the other shows he don't like to talk, and they ain't really hit it for him to talk. They want to hear me talk. So she was like, let me go ahead and throw out my Instagram, throw out my website, go ahead and let that go real quick. Make sure that you stay in touch with this journey. Make sure that you connect. If you're looking for an opportunity to do great in the world, Kingdom Atlanta is definitely a place where you can do that and redefine what it means to be an organization that gives back, because that's exactly what Sheryl and Kingdom are doing. So with that being said, you got your jewels, you got your big head jewel, you got all the information about Kingdom Atlanta. I feel like my job's done here today, and it's 1:37. I'm 2 minutes over if I timed my start correctly and everything came on. So thank you all from the audience. As always, thank you all for joining us. You don't have to be here on a Thursday around 1 o'clock, but you take the time to be with us here. So I have to tell you from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And you might have been getting me patting on my microphone, but that's okay. Please join us here next week. We got another amazing guest coming on at around 1 p.m. I'm going to say around because, you know, things happen with entrepreneurs, but we're going to shoot for one as always. So make sure you look out for the Instagram live notification. And if you're not on Instagram, you can definitely check us out on our YouTube. We're blasting it on YouTube as well. Look for us coming to Facebook and LinkedIn shortly as we continue to build up and work out everything here on the Russell Center Stakeholder Spotlight. I am MT. This is the Kingdom. We'll catch y'all next time, all right? Peace. Thank you. This is great. I love it. Let me slide out of the screen. This is great.